Hey everybody, welcome back to another live trading video. Today we're taking a look at USD JPY, and I just picked up a long trade. And if you stick around to the end of this video, what you'll see is a live Forex trade on a real brokerage, no nonsense, real money, start to finish without any hindsight in my favor, which hopefully is helpful to you. But what we're going to do here is I'll first explain the trade. We'll talk about why I'm in this trade, and then we'll watch it step by step, and I'll just pause and start and stop the video as we go along. Okay, so dollar yen, super bullish recently. Massive run up here as the dollar has just been sort of the king dollar, if you will, within all of the recession fears and stuff like that. The dollar has just been that safe haven asset, especially when compared to the Japanese yen, which has really been lackluster this year, as compared to other major central banks that are raising interest rates to combat inflation and becoming more attractive in that regard. The yen and the Japanese central bank has remained stubbornly dovish, not willing to raise interest rates. That's a little bit of fundamentals, and we'll talk more about that as we go along, but I wanted to talk about the technicals first, and then we'll dive into some other concepts. So we retested here today, actually a couple days ago, 2 days ago, 3 days ago, sorry. On this candle, you can see we had a massive reversal on the intraday chart. So price came down and found buyers in this area almost immediately, like launching off that area within just a few short hours. We were already recovering a major component to this huge drop. This huge drop, by the way, came from the Central Bank of Japan mentioning that they were planning on doing some major intervention to protect their currency from devaluing so fast. As the dollar rises, the yen is weakening relative to it, right? So that kind of news came out, and of course, that's something that central banks will often do. They'll make comments on, we're going to raise our bond buying or something like that. The problem is, though, the dollar is so fundamentally sound, and also raising interest rates in an incredibly hawkish mannerisms from Jerome Powell and his Federal Reserve plans. So anyways, I decided to buy this thing on a retest of support here today, with the idea being the risk to reward looks really good. Now, as traders, we don't have certainties. We only have probabilities and risk to reward. I think that if this thing just continues to plummet, sure, it's probably going to take out these lows and continue onwards to the downside. That's a possibility. That's why I have my stop loss just below market structure here. So you can see my stop is in play at $400 of risk on this trade. Now, in terms of a profit target, you'll see I don't have a take profit per se, but what I'm looking for is a rally off this level. And if that happens, I'll look to trail stops on higher lows and higher highs. So as we start to trail higher, my goal will be to lock in profits if possible. So with that said, that is a bit of the technicals. We have a nice solid uptrend on the daily chart. And as price retests to this 50% retracement from the swing low to the swing high, it prints these three levels, the 38.2, 50%, and 61.8. I decided to pick it up just after it started touching into this area at the 50% retracement line, willing to risk, like I said, that $400 going into the next couple of days. So that's a bit of the technicals. Let's take a quick look now at the fundamentals. We could take a look at the Edge Finder, which is our market scanning tool that we use to help find better trades. And it will be something that we should probably walk through a little bit here just to explain the idea. So, score of 4, what does that mean? Well, it combines all these different metrics: the commitment of traders report, retail sentiment, seasonality, trend reading, skipping on down to things like interest rates, which we discussed a moment ago. All of these things contribute towards a score. That score gives us a buy or sell bias and something that we could potentially use to make a more informed decision, if you will. It's not an all-in-one signal per se. It's just a bias. So anyways, we can walk through this really quickly. So for example, if we take a look at the commitment of traders data, we see that the dollar in terms of smart money is super favored at 78.56% of their positions on the long side, and 80% of futures contracts opened on the Japanese yen by smart money traders are on the short side. So interesting stuff there. We also have a very heavy short bias from retail. And when retail is super short something, it can be a major red flag. So that's another major indicator that I'm looking to be long. And I mentioned comparing interest rates, which is one of the fundamental components that we look at. We have a strong bias towards the US dollar, as they have been aggressively raising interest rates, where Japan stays at that negative 0.1% very stubbornly amongst central banks raising interest rates. So there you go. There's a little bit of the Edge Finder, just a sneak peek. If you guys want access to this tool, it will be linked down below in the description, as well as the trade alerts group where I share every trade I take. You can see here's our VIP group. So if you'd like access to this, there will also be a link. This is where I share the trade with the full explanation to why I took the trade in the description. So check that out if you are interested. So with that said, what I'll do is I will pause the video and give this some time to play out. It might be a day or two. And then once things start to develop, I'll come back and add my commentary, and I'll post this up on YouTube, whether it's a win or a loss, to try and show you guys just real trading start to finish.
Are you brand new to trading? Do you have a strategy that's not going so well and maybe you think you need some help, or maybe you just don't even know where to start? Well, lucky for you, A1 Trading has a trading help desk. All you have to do is fill out this form. At the bottom of the form is a list of things that you might need some help with. After you select that, we'll send you an email with a playlist of free videos from our YouTube channels, some tips on where you might want to begin, and even examples from our in-house traders and what they do in these situations. We'll even give you a peek at some trading tools that we provide that could help. Use the link in the description, the A1 Trading Help Desk. Click that link and get started now.
All right, guys, and all out of USD JPY here. Unfortunately, this trade went just under my level of support here that we marked, grabbed my stop loss, and reversed. So it looks like today I was liquidity for buyers underneath this level. Feels bad, man, but it happens to the best of us. Literally, you know, a lot of times people will be like, oh, well, to avoid that, you should have just gone here with your stop loss, right? And in hindsight, yes, but that might have ruined my risk reward on the initial idea. And here's the thing, right? Sometimes, actually, it really truly doesn't matter. If you try to avoid being liquidity too hard, you'll be very disappointed, because sometimes the market will do this and you'll say, you know, well, you should have moved your stop loss here. And the next time that it comes around, here's what it does. It shoots much further and then shoots back the other way. So the thing is, for me, this concept of like, oh, I'm getting so frustrated because I'm stopped out underneath a low, I want to avoid that. You know, the problem there, I think, is trying to constantly avoid that. If you focus so heavily on that, it might ruin just a strategy that works well overall. Yes, this did not work out well. My entry was clearly too early in hindsight, but I was going for this area where we had a pretty strong reaction to it previously. And to be fair, still seeing a pretty good reaction to it, and I've actually considered opening up another trade here to go forward. So we'll see if that can be a little bit better this time around, but dollar yen, still something I'm looking at on the long side, but unfortunately my timing was just off with this first initial attempt. Now, if you know my style of trading, I oftentimes take more than one attempt to buy or sell a market, just knowing that sometimes stuff like this happens, where you get stopped out just before liquidity runs the other way, and this, that, and the other, right? It's a cat and mouse game, if you will. But for me, I'm still looking to get long dollar yen, and this is just a small loss of $400. We'll take it, and we will move on, just accepting that in this case, we were just wrong about our entry. It looks like you made it to the end of one of my videos. Thank you so much for supporting my content. It really means the world to me. And down below in the description, I've put together some of my best resources for aspiring traders who are looking to improve. I've got some free downloads that could help you, some broker recommendations, and if you'd like to join our Discord or get access to some of our trading software, all of that will be linked down below in the description. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.